the chairman of Bistan Group and His Imperial Majesty, the Oni of Ife, Kawi CEO, Honorable Ministers, Your Royal Highness is here present, her members of Parliament here present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to stand on all existing protocols, please. Thank you. I want to thank the organizers of this year's National House Fair 6.0, especially the convener, Her Royal Highness Dr. Becky Olubukola, for giving me the privilege to stand before you here this day and to share with you on the topic that I've been given to speak on, building inclusive economics, how youth economic advancement promotes sustainable growth, with the theme Youth and Women Inclusion in Economic Growth and Development, the Future. Before I proceed, I'll wish to pay special tribute to all Nigerian youths that are here present and all around the country, both home and abroad. I salute you. I salute you because you are resourceful, very enterprising, dynamic, vibrant, energetic, ambitious, hopeful, resilient, and determined in this country. Thank you so much for all you are and all you have been in this country. For want of time, my presentation will be very brief and in two parts to allow for extensive interactive sections. We all know our national challenge currently, so I won't bother you with that. Rather, I would like to share with you on how Nigerian youth economic advancement promotes sustainable growth, and thereafter I will just catalog the role of government needs to play for a sustainable economic growth. The Nigerian youth potential. I'd like to share a story I read of a few days ago about a young entrepreneur, a 16-year-old young man called John Oseni from Ogun State, born to a family of a professor of biochemistry and a retired civil servant as a mother. He's 16 years old, born in February 2006. During the lockdown in 2020, he was an SS2 student, and because of the lockdown, he decided to do something to deal with his boredom. Before the lockdown, he actually had contested a computer competition alongside 70 participants, and the organizers of the competition, Green Garage in Akure, had promised him a prize which was not fulfilled. He tried to reach out to them by visiting their office, and when he discovered that the firm was out of operation with no hope in view to get his prize, he discovered that they had computers in their office that were already covered in dust. John thought he could seize the opportunity to use their facility to teach himself coding. After he was allowed, he became familiar with programming language and even helped teach others how to code. The young guru picked up special interest in blockchain technology, and that became his breakthrough idea. He decided to leverage on his relationships and friends around for referrals, since he didn't get a formal certification for that. Currently, in an interview, I want to quote him what he said in an interview recently. He said, "I have worked for 16 and 17 startups. I'm also working to start my own company and see the possibility of a future powered by nature. We plan to use nature to power cars, phones, and other things. The company has not been registered, but I'm already working with a team in the United States, Canada, and Nigeria, working on research. My lawyer is also working on it," he said. He is currently, he works as a team lead for 2 Italian firms Fly Wallet, and Kryptonite. It's important why I'm sharing his story. He said, in one of his another interview, he said, they asked me to come to Italy and say hi to the team, but I declined because I'm still working. I had an opportunity to meet with Oni of Ife, who wanted to see me. So I had to tell the company that I work remotely. And I'm sure Royal Imperial Majesty must have met with John Oseni, who actually is a young teenage millionaire. He has carved a niche for himself and has amassed a lot of wealth on his journey in technology. The story of John is the story of so many Nigerian youth around the country and around the globe that are blazing the trail in technology and a whole lot. How are the youth actually blazing the trail and promoting sustainable growth in the country? In December 2020, Nigeria statistics was put out saying that more than 154 million internet users are currently in Nigeria. This is the highest number reported in Africa. This dominating internet presence all over the world has produced a generation of tech entrepreneurs, mainly youth, whose innovation and businesses are helping to improve the lives of people in Nigeria and beyond. This dispensation, digitization is responsible for the fundamental shift in the global economy, redefining the boundaries of international trade and stretching the borders of modernization and innovation. It's important to note that young people are putting innovation ideas to work, leveraging on opportunities provided by internet to access information and collaboration with others across the globe. I was speaking with some set of young men some time ago, and I said to them, in a short while from now, the word "I don't know" will be expunged from human vocabulary and from dictionary. Reason because there's virtually no information you want to access now that you will not have access to on the internet. A good example of young people making great impact and contributing to the economic growth of our country is the owners of fintech company Paystack. We all know their story. It broke out sometime last year. It was founded by Shola Akinade and Ezra Olubi. They were ones who founded Paystack, and Strep actually acquired their company for $200 million. This is one of the great exploits of the Nigerian youth. This transition is made possible by sustainable tech entrepreneurship activity in enabling environment that provide private sector and government contribution. With the recent conversations around social media bans and stringent policy, it's important to know that we need to be careful so they don't miss out on the innovation and great inventions by these great minds migrating to other nations across the world. Another area that the youth are making great impact is in the media and entertainment industry, and they are promoting great economic growth for this country. The media and entertainment industry is one of the fastest growing creative industry in the world. It has the potential to become the country's greatest export, with projected annual growth rate of 8.6%. PwC came up with a report recently in 2001, and it says the Nigerian film industry, for instance, is contributing about 2.3% and about 239 billion naira, approximately $660 million to GDP. The projected that the industry will increase its export earning to over $1 billion. This remarkable symbol of the Nigerian youth ingenuity. For instance, the Nollywood is one of the largest movie industry built without assistance and without foreign investment until recently. With a small piece of equipment that the world thought belonged to the amateurs, young Nigerians are able to make blockbusters for the consumption of the entire African continent and beyond. For instance, here in this auditorium, we have the likes of Muhyiddin Oladipo, popularly known as Lala, Funsho Adeoye, and Ayo Adeshina, who all are shining examples of how they started as youth and today they are contributing their quota to the economic growth of this nation using the entertainment act. According to PwC, the motion picture and music recording industry exceeded 2022 projected $806 million revenue, contributing to about 730 billion naira to the country's GDP in 2020. The Minister of Culture, Lai Mohammed, in 2021 had said that there's a projected estimate of that Nigerian music industry was set to generate about $86 million. That's about 3.09 billion naira in revenue, making it the region's largest. Digital music consumption contributes to the largest portion of the revenue. The country television and video that is popularly dominated by this same youth, Nigerian youth, market grows by 7.49%, about 608 million in 2022, up from 732 million in 2018. The industry is projected to earn about $900 million by 2023. Another area that I think strongly that we need to harness the strength of the youth, like the convener had earlier said, in the area of peace building for sustainable growth. According to the National Youth Development Policy, it asserts that youths are the foundation of a society. Their energies, inventiveness, character, orientation define the pace of development and security of a nation. Through their creative talent and labor power, a nation makes giant strides in economic development and social political attainment. In their dreams and hope, a nation finds her motivation. On their energies, she builds her vitality and purpose. And because of their dreams and aspiration, the future of the nation is assured. This statement acknowledges the role of the youth in the peace and security of the nation as the most active segment of our society. Youth are the major determinants of peace and stability of a nation. Conversely, the degree of orderliness and instability in a society is also determined in part by youth. Peace is a precursor for development. The absence of peace means no meaningful development can take place. The National Youth Policy affirms that the extent of a youth's responsive conduct and role in society is positively correlated to the development of a country. The Nigerian youth have the key responsibility to play in building the peaceful and safe Nigeria because the youth across the globe are key stakeholders in peace building. According to a recent study carried out by Mercy Corporations, many active members of terrorist groups, most especially in West African region, willfully or were forcefully conscripted to a large pool of willfully or forcefully conscripted from the large pool of unemployed youths. An economically empowered Nigerian youth will be willing to contribute to the building of a peaceful nation by embracing peaceful coexistence across the divides. In addition, they can deploy their knowledge in addressing the challenges bedeviling the nation through effective means such as national dialogue. National dialogue remains the key tool to peace building, and as such, there is a need for the voices of the young people to be heard from all the locals to the national level by giving them the chance to express their grievance. Lastly, I want to talk about the role I think that the government can really play to ensure that the youth take their place and contribute effectively to the sustainable growth of the Nigerian economy. And I want to mention just 5 things very quickly in quick successions, and I'll round up. Number 1, youth consultation and inclusion in policy formulation. Yes, recently I know that the bill to Not Too Young to Rule was signed, but the time has come that youth consultation should be viewed as a method by which the requests, the principles, hope, worries of the youth are taken into account in the decision-making process within the nation. The overall goal of this involvement is to be designed when the overall goal is to involve the youth when designing policies so as to achieve accountability, transparency, and active citizenship. Number 2, I want also to talk about the importance of focusing on building owners and investors, not consumers. It's important that as a capitalist nation, the path to economic sustainable growth is through investment and ownership. Government at all levels, particularly policy formulators and curriculum developers, should develop curriculum that help students and the youth to begin to develop the culture of investment and ownership. Curriculum that focus on financial education and tools that is needed to be successful in building wealth at all levels of education. Our formal and informal education should be, among other things, include how to legitimately be financially successful, raising a generation of owners of business and investors, and de-emphasizing on how to consume and graduating from the university to become job seekers. I strongly believe that it's important that we begin to look at the critical infrastructures that will help us to begin to build a strong and a viral economy. Number 3, build a strong economic infrastructure is a must. According to World Bank, 72% of African population does not have access to financial services. So we can no longer play with building variable infrastructure that will help build a strong economy. And these infrastructures are both social infrastructure and physical infrastructure. Finally, in closing, I want to leave us with this story about an event that happened some time ago in August 2018. It's a story about 5 brilliant Nigerian girls from Regional Passy Modern Secondary School, Onitsha, in Anambra State. They did Nigeria proud, and indeed they made African proud. These young girls contested in a very severe technological advance with technological advanced countries, and they emerged as winners of the 2018 edition of the Techno World Pitch competition in California, the United States. Among other feats, their laudable achievement is a confirmation that Nigerian youths are not lazy. It's also a proof that they've given enough encouragement, support, motivation. Our youths can excel at any international competition anywhere in the world. I enjoy all Nigerian youths never to despair or to be weary in contributing their quota towards the national capacity building in Nigeria. The outlook currently seems to be unwelcoming, especially with the current state of insecurity and uncertainty of our economy. I certainly hope that with avid determination, continuous prayers, contribution in both human and material resources, Nigerian youths will rise again. Nigeria will rise again to her glorious heights once again as a giant of Africa. Thank you. God bless you. And God bless the Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.